How to get your first listings as a brand new real estate agent. This is a question that you should be asking yourself not the day you get licensed, but actually well in advance, well before you become a licensed agent, actually during the process of you getting your license. And in this video, I want to share with you 8 creative ways that you're able to quickly get your very first listing. 8 ways that not many people are sharing with you, so stay tuned until the end because I guarantee that one of these ideas is going to allow you to quickly get your very first listing as a brand new realtor. What's up, everyone? My name is Mike Sherrard. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. If you love learning tips, tricks, and strategies on how to scale your real estate business the modern way, please make sure you like this video, subscribe, and lightly tap that notification bell. So as mentioned in the introduction, I want to address the brand new agents, the agents that are coming into the industry ambitious, driven, motivated, excited to become a top producer one day themselves, but don't really know where to get started or how to get started. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of agents are going to tell you as soon as you get into the industry, you just have to become this buyer's agent and only work with buyers. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's simply not the case. When I was a new real estate agent, my very first 2 listings, I got the first day I was licensed, door knocking in the cold in the winter, and those were listings. 75% of my business as a first-year real estate agent were listings, not buyers. And we all know that the listings is where the power and the leverage is. So again, in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 creative ways that you can get your very first listing as a brand new agent. Now, the first one is running an open house for a different agent. Me personally, I no longer run any of my open houses, except on the rare occasion where it's a high-end luxury home and the seller requests that I am the one at the property. But oftentimes I let other agents run the open houses for me. Now, what can you do there? When you have an open house, oftentimes you're going to see a lot of neighbors that are coming through curious about if that property is going to sell and how much it's going to sell for, because indirectly they're curious about the value of their house. So when people are coming through the property, if they're nosy neighbors, don't just brush them off and push them to the side because they're not looking to buy that house. Put some effort into convincing them to get you through the door and see how much their property is worth, because you never know if the value of their property is right and you're able to provide value to them. Oftentimes they might actually be curious about listing their house. So that's a great way to do it. It's very effective because you're in person, you're able to build a quick positive rapport with them, make a great first impression, and ultimately become the one that's top of mind going forward for that person. Now, the second one, and this is one that works extremely well, is actually market listings from your brokerage. And oftentimes there's a lot of agents that either don't do that well at marketing, or why would they turn down additional marketing for their own listing? And usually if you're able to start marketing other listings, you're going to have other sellers come your way. That's inevitable because you start to become seen as an authority in those spaces. So if you start to market other properties from your brokerage listed by other agents in certain areas that you would like to farm or become known in, oftentimes people are going to continuously see those properties under your name, even though it's listed by another agent, because if you don't know already, the listings aren't actually owned by individual agents. They're owned by the brokerage. Now, of course, you need to ask permission. But again, as mentioned, I've never had somebody say, no, you can't market my listing and pay to get additional exposure out of your pocket. But it's a great way to start building up familiarity with your brand yourself and have people start to gravitate towards you, asking the value of their house, asking how much it would sell for, or what the market's like in that specific community. So if there's an area that you'd like to farm, simply look at what listings your brokerage already has in those areas, start to market them, again, maybe do an open house at them, and that's going to become a way for you to be seen as an authority in those areas and have people reach out to you when it becomes time to sell. Number 3, running a general seller's lead generation ad on Facebook. I will link all of my Facebook, YouTube videos below that show you exactly how to run seller's lead generation ads. I'll pop it up in the card above as well, so click after this video and check that out, where I show you exactly how you can simply use a seller's guide in order to start marketing on Facebook and be seen again as an authority and a seller and a listing agent in your community or in your city. So it's very simple for you to just put $5 or $10 a day into running Facebook ads, where you can pump out a seller's guide showing people how to sell the property for top dollar in least amount of time with the most enjoyable experience working with yourself. And that's, again, going to be a way for you to get a lot of sellers leads simply by running a few bucks a day on Facebook. I've got videos showing you how to do that. Oftentimes, if you're with a modern brokerage, they will actually have their own seller's guide. So you can simply turn that into a PDF, start pumping it out there, and you're going to start seeing leads come in from that. So it's a great way, again, to not only get exposure, but to start to generate sellers leads and acquire some listings yourself. Number 4, post frequently on LinkedIn. Now, we all know that LinkedIn is a bit more of a professional social media outlet or channel, if you will. And a lot of people that are in the seller's world are there. A lot of people have a tough time understanding how to use Instagram, for example, or TikTok in order to generate leads. If you want to know how to do that, especially with TikTok, click above and I'll show you how to do that. But a lot of people are of the more mature status on LinkedIn, which is usually the middle-aged homeowners. So if you start to post great content, which again, I have an exact video on what realtors should be posting, I'll link it above and below, you're going to be seen as an authority in that space, starting to just post simply things like new listings from your brokerage, open houses that you're running, any new market updates that might be coming out, any new economic development that might impact the real estate industry, anything real estate related. Start to post that content on LinkedIn, because as people start to become familiar with that, they're going to see you as a thought leader or as a go-to value-added resource in the real estate industry in your city. And again, when you're the one that's putting out value, that's what people want. People want answers. And if you are going to be seen as the one that can give people those answers about their house, the market, anything like that, you're going to have people starting to reach out to you to sell their property. Now, number 5 is prospecting off of a just sold listing. This is exactly how I got my very first 2 listings. The first day I was licensed as a brand new agent, I went out door knocking in -5, which was cold, in the dark at nighttime after my job as an engineer. And I simply leveraged a listing that just sold on that street. I went around to that area and I simply knocked on a couple doors, actually a lot of doors because it was the entire street, which was quite long. And I simply just said, hey, I don't know if you noticed that the property just down the street from you sold for 99% of list price in 1 week. But I was just curious if you wanted to know how that might impact the value of your property. I'd be more than happy to give you a free home evaluation just to give you an idea of what your property might sell for in this current market. If the answer is yes, great, set the appointment. If the answer is no, okay, no problem, completely understand. Right now might just not be the time for you. But if you would be interested, there's a lot of other people in this community that have set up on our monthly market update, which shows you on a monthly basis what properties have sold, what properties are listed, how much they sold for, just so you can keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your community. There's no obligation, you can cancel anytime, but it's a great resource for you just to keep in tune with what's going on in your community, and I can easily set you up just with an email. I get almost a 100% opt-in rate for that. So door knocking, cold calling, you're able to do the exact same thing, but instead of going door to door, you just pick up the phone, dial the community, leverage a property that just sold for a high value in a short amount of time, and there you go. Number 6, go to real estate networking events. This is one of the strategic ones that worked exceptionally well for me, because here's what you need to understand. A lot of people that go to these real estate networking events are real estate investors. They're not actually licensed agents, but in order to get access to a lot of the properties, they need a real estate agent. So what I started doing as a brand new agent is simply going to these real estate networking events. Not only is it going to be a great way for you to learn about investing in real estate and working with real estate investors, but it's also going to be a fantastic way for you to build a rapport and a relationship with some of the local investors in your community. Now, that's great, not just because you're able to get connections with people that do real estate at scale, which gives you some consistency and volume, but if they're flipping properties, they have to buy the house, which could be with you. And then after they flip it, they need an agent that's going to sell the house. So that's a great way for you to not only get a buyer, but also get one of your first listings on a double-ended scale, right? So that's one of the great ways that I've been able to get some of my first listings was by working with investors that simply wanted to flip properties. And you were able to get both ends, the buyer's end and the seller's end. And once you get great results for one investor, oftentimes they have friends that are curious about investing, or they've got other investors that they know that want to go to agent. So that's a great way for you to build up some steam and momentum, as well as some consistency and predictability in your business. Number 7, co-listing with a busy agent. Now, let me explain this for a second. You might say, well, Mike, why would somebody want to give away their listing or share half the commission with me if they got the listing? But what you're going to understand is it gets to a point in top producers' lives where there's certain price points, communities, areas they simply just don't want to allocate their time in. Oftentimes it's a lower price point or it's communities that aren't in their strategic farm area. So if you find an agent that's doing large volume, oftentimes you're able to go to that agent and say, listen, hey, if you've got a listing that's maybe at a price point you don't want, maybe it's $100,000, $200,000 condo, or maybe it's just outside the city limits and you don't want to be commuting back and forth, I'll co-list it with you. I will do the open houses, I will do the marketing with my own budget, and I will do all of the effort from the showings and beyond for that listing for you. All I need to do is for you to get it, bring me on, and I'll do all of the work, even the paperwork. Oftentimes they're going to say yes. So that's a great way for you to just partner with somebody that already has a consistent flow of leads for sellers, and you're able to get a first listing. Your name's going to be on the listing. You can start marketing it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and again, that's going to attract even more sellers your way. Number 8, finally, is again, the age-old reach out to friends and family. As a new agent, sometimes you're going to be hit with the objection of experience or credibility or age if you're a younger agent, but there's a lot of people that love to see the underdog win. There's a lot of people that want to see the new agent not struggle and start to get a good foundation built and get their feet under them. So the last one is the typical one, which is just reach out to every single person you know, as well as make a post on every social media platform. Let everybody know what you're doing, but don't just say, hey, I become a licensed real estate agent. Explain why you became a licensed real estate agent. If people are able to build a connection with you and see why you're so passionate about this industry, why you decided to leave your corporate job, get into real estate, or not go to university, get into real estate, whatever direction led you to becoming an agent, that's your story. That's your mission, what makes you unique and stand out from anybody else, because you have a story that nobody else has. So share that on social media so people can see that you're not just in it for a couple quick bucks, you're in it for a great reason. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 8 creative ways that you can easily get your very first listing. Do not listen to the people that tell you to just start becoming a buyer's agent, because it's hard to scale that. You're investing a lot of time and you're not getting a big return if you're not able to do it consistently. So if you have any questions about how to get started in real estate or about getting your first listing, drop a comment below. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.